Hello, welcome. It's Canvas, the Niger-Delta Roundtable. Every week I discuss the future of this region, blessed with hydrocarbon and human resources. We give time to reflecting on topics relevant to the development of the Niger-Delta and her people. Now, this episode, we're continuing in that fashion, and we're focusing once again on how to take this region to a more promising future. This podcast is sponsored by the operator of the NNPC, Renaissance Total Energies Ajib joint venture, Renaissance Africa Energy Company Limited, headquartered in Port Harcourt. Thank you for joining. I'm Adedayo Elushakin. A topic for this week: understanding autism. Today's episode marks World Autism Awareness Day, observed globally on April 2nd. A moment dedicated not just to awareness, but to understanding, inclusion, and respect for autistic people across the world. Autism is often spoken about in statistics or symptoms, but at its core, it is a human experience. It affects individuals, families, schools, workplaces, and communities in deeply personal ways. Yet, despite growing global conversations, autism remains widely misunderstood in many of our local contexts, surrounded by silence, stigma, and misinformation. Now, this episode is not about labels or diagnosis. It's about listening, it's about learning, and it's about creating space for empathy. As the world pauses this week or thereabouts to reflect on autism, we're using this conversation to ask a simple but important question. How can our society become more understanding, more inclusive, and more humane? Again, our topic for this week on Canvas is Understanding Autism, and my guest is Mercy Emmanuel-Worgu. Mercy Emmanuel-Worgu is a certified autism specialist, an applied behavioral analyst, a communication therapy and disability specialist, as well as a certified caregiver for the elderly. She is the CEO and the founder of Utmost Care and Therapy Services Limited, and Utmost Care and Neurodevelopment Foundation. Mercy Emmanuel-Worgu, hello, welcome to Canvas, the Niger-Delta Roundtable.
Thank you, Mr. Dyer.
And it's good to have you here again. I stressed the word again because before we recorded this, we are having a conversation earlier and discovered that this is your third time here.
Yeah.
For the life of me, I
Same
actually thought it
here.
was the second time.
It's the third.
Third. It's not very often we have a person here for a third recording. Donald, have we ever had a third recording with one person before?
Yes.
Oh, okay, maybe one person. Okay, I think one person. So it's good to have you here, and having you here for a third time, for me, speaks to the importance of the subject matter. Speaks to your specialty, and excellence, as far as knowledge and delivery of the important points in the subject matter as well, and your competence also, and speaks to also your intention as supporting discussions on a very important matter. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Dyer. Thank you. I feel good being here for the third time. It was a beautiful experience and I'm having it again, so I feel happy.
It's great to have you here. Incidentally, the two previous times you were here, we spoke on Down syndrome
syndrome,
and autism as well. But we have it here again to talk autism again
Yeah.
because it's very important. It's a never going conversation and one that we must continue to have. So let's get right to it then. Starting with what possibly is the most obvious first question. What is autism?
Autism. Okay. Autism is something that everybody right now, let me say, there's more awareness and people are trying to understand more what it is. To explain vividly, autism is a neurological condition. It is a developmental disorder where an individual tends to have impaired communication. Impaired communication in the sense that person has no or limited means of language communication. I say language communication in the sense that the person is not able to use words, language to communicate, but might use other means to communicate, okay? And there's also impaired social interaction. So you see a child of 3, 4, 5 years is not socially relating with his peers. So he might want to be alone instead of playing with his peers. He might want to go to a corner and get interested in just a particular toy and play with it. He would rather do isolated play, playing alone, than play with his friends, explore his environment. There's also restricted behavior, restricted interest. So the child has limited interest in what is happening around him or her. And there is repetitive behavior. Repetitive behavior in the sense that a child does something over and over. It can be stimming, vocal stimming. You see the child repeating a particular sound over and over. It could be stimming, motor stimming, where the child goes in and flap the hands and move from one corner to another. It could be steaming with toys. So it goes on picking a toy and just flip, 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 flip at intervals. So that repetitive behavior is there. Restricted interest in there is impaired. Social interaction is there. Impaired communication skill is there. And there's also this sensory behaviors that the child is not able to integrate. So when you see these four major features, they are in different degrees. You know that there is a tendency that this child might be autistic. Okay.
So the last question, I'm sure I've asked you the previous time you were here, and just in case you're listening and you're watching this and you're wondering what we discussed the previous times, you can go on our YouTube page. Canvas is on YouTube. Just check it out. You can watch the previous recordings we had on this subject matter, catch up on these ones while you enjoy this current episode as well. But I know I've asked you this before once again. How is autism different from Down syndrome? And globally, World Down Syndrome Day is observed, I think, a week before World
Yeah.
Autism
The
Awareness
21st of
Day.
March.
So, what's the difference between autism and Down syndrome?
The Down syndrome is a chromosomal abnormality. That's to do with the gene, and that's to do with the misplacement of the positioning of the extra gene on the 31st chromosome, on the 21st chromosome. So that's chromosomal abnormalities happen as a result of mispositioning. That's numerical misposition and or structural. Let's say, for instance, a chromosome is supposed to be rectangular. That particular nature of the gene is supposed to be, and is now square. So the structure, the change in the structure of the chromosome and the position, the number, the numerical position result into chromosomal abnormalities. So with Down syndrome, the extra chromosome is on the 21st chromosome. That's why it's Down syndrome. And that brings about a lot of physical deformities, physical changes. So once you see a child with Down syndrome, it's very glaring. You just know that because of the physical nature of the child, you see that this is Down syndrome. But with autism, there's no physical deformity except it comes with other comorbidities. You could see a child who is autistic and also have Down syndrome. You could see a child who is autistic and have ADHD, attention deficit disorder. But when it's pure down autism, there is no physical deformity. You don't see the muscles weak. The child is proper, like physical nature is proper. So looking at the child, you won't see that there's anything until maybe you engage the child or you see some behaviors coming up, like what I have mentioned before now. You see all those things playing on. So chromosomal Down syndrome is genetic, is chromosomal abnormalities, why autism is neurological. Even though people with Down syndrome come down with a cognitive deficit, language deficit, they still have all those developmental disorder symptoms and behaviors.
So, Down syndrome is caused by misplacement in the genes.
Yeah.
What
The
causes autism?
position. Autism, we said that by research, by statistics, there is no proper, but people are looking into genetics also. They're also looking into environmental factors. Environmental factors can be internal or external. External in the sense that the toxicity in the atmosphere, okay? Internal in the sense that there are some things that maybe during pregnancy, the mother must have taken, or a lot of things that will affect the neurology nature of the child that might result into autism. Because they're looking into genetics, because you see a family who has 1, 2, 3. Okay.
Talking autism now.
Yes, autism.
Okay.
You might see a family who has 1, 2, 3, because you are seeing the causes of autism. So I'm trying to like these two. They are what they are knowing, the environmental factors and the genetic factors as well.
Okay.
But they are not so stamped that these are still under investigation.
So if there's a history of autism in a family, there is a
Yes,
an improved chance.
yes, there's 50-50.
Okay.
It's 50-50. If you have a child with autism, there's the possibility that the next one is 50-50 will also be autistic.
All right. When you think autism, what do you think, or what do you wish people understood more or better about autism in your experience?
I just wish that they know that these human beings are different. Different in the sense that even in the group of autistic people, they are different among themselves. That is why they call it autism spectrum disorder. It's a wide range of varieties. So don't compare a child who is on the spectrum with a neurotypical child. That would be cruel on that child, because you can't even compare an autistic person with an autistic person. You can't say, see, this child is autistic, he's reading, he's writing, he's doing all these things. This one, you two, you're autistic. Why are you not doing? No, you can't do that, because you cannot compare them, because it's a spectrum. Despite they might have the language impairment, social impairment, they are in levels. So do not compare. I wish the society understand that people on the autism spectrum, their brain function in a different way or operate in a different way. And then do not fit the child into the society, but learn what is unique, how best you can make the child to carefully adapt to what he or she has. For instance, a child has auditory processing disorder. Is not able to process loud sounds. And you took this child to church, you are sitting very close to the musical instrument, the noise is so loud. The child is not wearing an ear muff that can filter the sound. You are forcing that child to be in that system. That's wrong. Somebody who understands that this child is not able to process this sound will find solution. So I wish people out there will understand that these human beings have the type of brain that function differently, and they learn to know how best to help them and not to force them to fit into the society. That's why we are talking about inclusion.
So in that scenario you just painted, for example, like the church scenario. So when that child is acting uncomfortable, it is not the Holy Ghost fire burning the evil spirits in the child. That's not what's happening.
That's not what is happening. The child doesn't have what it takes to process the sound. I mean, you can condole it.
Yeah.
And say, okay, it's just for a while. They don't have that capacity. They want it out. They want to leave that place. Their system can't take it. Imagine when I open your eyes widely and I flashlight into it and I tell you, stay there. How uncomfortable will you be? So some of these things are overwhelming to their system. They can't take it, but yet the society wants them to be there because other children are doing that. Are they not your mates that are seated here? Why are you always up and down? Why are you always standing? The child wants to be mobile. The child wants to exert the energy. And they even go as far as telling them that you have spoiled this child. This child, you have spoiled this child. The child is not taking instruction. The child doesn't want to be seated for a long time. The child needs a sensory break. You get that? So I wish that the society understand that their brain function operates in a different way and they learn how best to help them.
So for autism, must that be present, the language or communication dysfunction?
Yeah, those are present there.
It must be.
They life is a must, yes, but they are in degrees. So you could see somebody who is in level 1, the person is communicating.
Okay.
But might have some limitation in comprehension when it's choked. So when I say, go and bring the cup, the child is able to process and go to bring the cup. But when I give like 3-step, 4-step instruction, I say, oh, hear me? When you get to your room, make sure you pick up your bags from the floor, lay your bed, and then bring my bag. It's in my room. That's a whole lot. The child might not be able to process those series of, so you see that communication receptive, because when we talk about communication, we talk of receptive language and expressive language, okay? Expressive language, articulation and all that. So those things might not be there, or they might be there little, but they are level 3, where the child does not even understand you. It's like the child is in a different world. You get that? It's not processing. Toilet training is difficult. All the sensory behaviors are up there. And that kind of level might need support for their whole life.
No, I don't think that I have any language or communication challenges. However, I think I do exhibit certain repetitive behavior, especially when I'm by myself and I catch myself doing it. Um, could I be on the autism spectrum?
What remember I told you that there are 4 quacks of autism.
Mm.
So if you're just doing a repetitive behavior, and which you don't even do, like you do it at a certain time, maybe to like gain your confidence, or maybe you're thinking, you're having a deep thought into something, you see yourself doing that, doesn't make you an autistic.
Ah.
Might just be a behavior you use as your coping mechanism in some certain situation.
Do I need help?
Maybe I can help you.
Okay, maybe I'll book a session later.
Oh yeah, I'm glad.
What are some of the misconceptions that people generally have about autism?
Yeah, people have a lot of misconception about autism, especially in the African continent. You see people say, "Oh, it is, it is demonic." Okay, the demon has possessed this child. The child needs deliverance. You see people say, "Okay, it's a vaccine," and all that. You see people say, "No, the parents have used this child for ritual. This particular child is the one that is bringing money to the family," especially when the parents are rich. Let me use the word. Especially when they are wealthy, they are comfortable, very, very comfortable. Say, this is the one that is giving them money. They have used this one's head for the money ritual. And people say a lot of things. Oh, maybe the things that the lady took when she was single, they are the things that have damaged her womb. Now she has given birth to a bad child, Or some people say, all the evils they did, this is the payback. God has used this one to pay them back. There are so many misconceptions. But we will tell you that it is a neurological developmental disorder that nobody can really explain how it has happened, but we are looking at genetics and environmental factors. So those means are things that we are trying to give the information to the society so they get to know. When we had the screening, Nigerians, not just Nigerians, a lot of people, even some educated people, don't know the difference between autism and other special needs disabilities. Okay, so you were having people with Down syndrome, we're having people with cerebral palsy. They don't know the difference because the screening tools were just for autism. We used an international screening tool and a local Nigerian-made screening tool, and we did it in Convocation Arena. All thanks to Professor Isaac Zim Obinkwe, who gave us the Convocation Arena for free. He's a disability-friendly VC, and the head of the department, the Special Need Education and Rehabilitation Sciences, Dr. Catherine, and the other lecturers in the department who also, they were really, really involved. I was the state coordinator. So we are grateful they understand that people need to be screened. And we got screened. The parents felt supported because we also felt for support. It was self-funding. We funded ourselves and the VC gave us that arena for free. So it's the misconception. People didn't know the difference. So it was when they come, when I tell them, oh, this is not autism, even though it's not autism, they can still be helped. They can still go through other therapy processes to get better.
Yeah, but I imagine that even for those cases that were not autism, or determined to be autism, was it still good that the parents brought their children?
Yeah, it was good
to
because
check?
they had the information that they didn't have before.
Yeah.
They were thinking, maybe they just heard that if your child is not talking, if you have concern for your child, the radio adverts and all that, and they say, oh, of course, I have concern for my child. But they have stated that it's for autism age 1 to 18, and they brought their child. But at the end of the day, they knew they were referred to places they could get therapeutic intervention for the children, and they were better counseled.
Now, for some of the other neurological impairments or even Down syndrome, for example, that's at its core is genetic. And for Down syndrome, especially as it was explained a while ago, there are physical impairments as well. So it might be a bit more obvious to identify something is wrong here. But for autism, in certain cases, it's not immediately presentable. You may not be able to confirm immediately, or maybe using maybe using a different term. It might be expressing itself in a very mild way and not so obvious. So how do parents tell? And from what age do you start to observe certain things and you can say, okay, maybe my child is on the autism spectrum and we need to have the child checked?
This is where the understanding the developmental milestones come to play. When you understand that at the age of 6 months, 3 months, 6 months, 9 months, 12 months, 18 months, 24 months, these are the milestones when it comes to communication, when it comes to physical features, when it comes to cognitive, when it comes to motors, that these behaviors, these are the things I expect from my child. Okay, at the age of 24 months, a child should have like 50 to 100 vocabulary. 24 months, 2 years, should be able to tell you one or two. Wee wee, mommy, daddy, bread. And you are not seeing that. It should give you a concern. The child is not maintaining eye contact, is not responding to your smiles. You okay? You get that?
Or the name.
Or the name. He's not even turning to the direction when he or she is called. I mean, even if you not respond, if I call Anne, the baby should recognize that that is what I'm called. Should turn to the direction of the caller. He's not imitating. When I say bye, the child is not waving back to say bye. The child is not involved. You can see that this child is not involved. That's concern. That should give you some level of concern. And then you should seek for solutions. So usually the first two places that people will go to, they might go to hospital, they might go to school. Okay? They might go to hospital, they might go to school. And if it is school that is knowledgeable about the developmental milestone, they might bring it to your notice. Oh, your child is not maintaining eye contact. Your child is not saying any word yet. Okay? What have you done? They can refer. If it's a hospital, you see a neurologist, you see a pediatrician, you see a neurologist, there might be proper diagnosis, screening and diagnosis, and then they refer you to the right place for intervention. So it's very important as a parent, you should know the developmental milestones of a child. So once there is a deviation, because autism brings about deviation, all the special needs bring about deviation. Once there's a deviation, you will identify it and look for solution.
Okay, and let's bring me somewhat back into this conversation. I have a vague memory of when I was in nursery 2. And you talk about milestones.
Yeah.
So obviously at nursery 2, I wasn't 24 months. I was obviously older. But you find that children who were about my age were in the same class together, obviously. And I couldn't, as my dad would tell me in later years, I couldn't process certain information. And I think I may have mentioned this to you in our previous recordings, one of our previous recordings possibly, how that my dad would describe to me that when he came to school to pick me, and maybe the last class is an assignment that's on the board, and we're supposed to copy it down into our notebooks. Whilst my other classmates were copying theirs down to their notebooks, I would go to the board. I would stare at the board for some seconds. I'd go back to my seat, pick up my pencil, and I would be unable to write anything down. And I would get up again, I would go back to the board, I would stare at it again, I'd go back to my seat, and I would write nothing down. And of course, I came last in the entire arm, nursery 2. While others got promoted to primary one, I didn't get promoted because my parents were offered the option of me being promoted. My dad said no, so I had to
Okay.
repeat it. And then the next year, I came top in the entire arm. So was something wrong with me at that time? Was there some deficit? Was there some, I don't know.
Yeah, there could be some things that is happening to you that it was unknown as at that time. Let me take, for instance, what you have mentioned. It could be a memory issue. There could be a sight issue. Okay, you going there, going closer means when you from where you were seated, you couldn't sight the board well, so you moved closer. Before you look at it, okay, this is what I want to write. Getting to your book, you have forgotten exactly what you want to write. So let me leave autism and not say dyslexia. People who are dyslexic has problem with letters, and they have problem with also penning down, like looking from the board and writing. People who have ADHD, attention deficit hyperactivity disorder, they will have problem with sitting still because they are not able to. They will look at it, it's all mixed up. Okay, I'm supposed to copy line 2. You see that they might go to line 4 and write. Later, they'll go back to line 1. So that's being meticulous to follow, maintain attention, and follow as you are supposed to. They might not have that skill. We know we've worked with some of them where the therapist will have to be at the board and say, write this, next. So you are prompting them to maintain that level of attention. So that could have been your case at that time. And it could also be that, okay, you go to see and you were not storing in your short-term memory distraction. You were easily distracted. So coming, looking at other things, you forgot what you wanted to write. Not that you are not a bright child, you could just have some environmental distractions or internal distractions as well. Maybe as a child, you're also going through some things that you couldn't explain to anybody that brought about the distraction that you had.
It is Canvas and Niger-Delta Roundtable in commemoration of this year's Global Autism Awareness Day. We're discussing understanding autism. We have to go for a break now. We'll return shortly. The conversation will continue. Do please stay with us.
In the heart of our journey, where the sun touches the earth and the wind whispers through the trees, a new chapter unfolds. A chapter where energy illuminates more than just bulbs. It lights up minds. A chapter of unity, a coming together with a common goal to energize futures and illuminating lives. In classrooms, young dreams evolve, inspired by the promise of a brighter tomorrow fueled by available energy. Small businesses flourish, becoming seeds of prosperity. Energy that empowers and is catalyst for growth and change. The future is energy. So, let's light up the path to a sustainable future together. Energy for you, me, and the world at large. Energy for people and planet. We are Renaissance.
Welcome back to the Canvas and Niger-Delta Roundtable, brought to you by Renaissance. I'm Dyer. Understanding autism is the conversation we're continuing with at this time. Behavioral specialist, Mercy Emmanuel-Worgu. My guest is still here. Mercy, welcome again.
Thank you, Dario.
Now, I imagine that for an autistic person, there are circumstances, conditions, maybe challenges that they have to live with daily. And those who immediately surround them, family especially, what are those daily, if I may use the term again, challenges that they have to deal with?
Okay, with the person that is autistic down to the family, right? So for someone who is autistic, communication is always a challenge they have to deal with, not knowing how to express their needs most times. most times, not knowing how to. So you could see them, they have limited language usage. They want to really tell you, reporting. For example, the person has gone to school, might want to tell you. So you see them pick the words, pick, and try to put it together. So you need to like do one-on-one to understand what they are really saying. Why some too have come a long way, they can express and give you reports, but not as parrots, like just giving it like that. It could give you simple sentences in 1 or 2, 3 sentences and tell you what has happened. So that challenge of communication is there. The challenge of ADL, that is activities of daily living skill, personal hygiene is there. So they need to be groomed to have that. And the challenge of people not understanding them. They understand. The children know if you understand them. If you don't understand them, they know. They know who loves them. They know who is making jest of them. They know these things. People don't really understand that. People on the spectrum, no matter how small they are, they know who is empathetic, who wants to support them. They know. I could remember when I was pregnant, my maternity leave, there was this child that I was attending to. So I left, no way to, I just told her, I had to tell her that I'm going for maternity leave, but she wouldn't understand how long. So the next time she saw me, I returned from maternity leave, she came and held me. She was non-verbal. She came and held me very tight and hugged me. I was just rubbing her head all over my body. That's her own way of saying, oh, I missed you. And I understood that she missed me. Because she felt we have connection. I understand that. But there are people that will come, they will just look at you. And that's why even in the families, you could see one of them very close to the child. The child goes, if you want something, it can go closer to the mommy or to the daddy. Maybe the daddy is not that acceptant. So they know who accept them. So that challenge of accepting them, accepting their uniqueness is always there for them. Then for the family, of course, therapeutic intervention and going through the diagnosis, handling all the behaviors are overwhelming to parents. Therapy is not cheap. From Africa to Europe to America, therapy is not cheap. And over there, outside the country, we have government some fund for them, pay their therapy fees, and so the parents just go through the burden of handling their behavior, managing the children. But here in Africa, in Nigeria, we have the parents pay the therapy fees, the parents look for nutrition that are healthy for them, that will help you, because nutrition also play its own part. The parents trying to manage the challenging behavior. The parents are there to face the stigma from the society. So it's a whole lot for them to deal with. So that's why some of them, you see them, they break down. And some of them too, they are very strong. They try to work it all through. You see the children coming up, doing well. Like us, we have been able to work with some children that we can say today, they are running on the same curriculum with their classmates. They are communicating. There was even one that we worked with. The mother was like, he's talking too much now. I was like, don't even tell her. So we should not do therapy to make him not to talk, not to talk too much. So and the child came with this accent, the way he's speaking. So they are there to face the whole challenges of finances, environment, society acceptance, the challenges that the children come up with. Some also come up with some health issues. Some come with seizures. So you can imagine that rushing a child to hospitals at intervals. So it's a whole lot. And so they need all the supports that they can get. The parents need all the support that they can get. The people on the autism spectrum need all the acceptance and intervention that they can get.
I'll ask you about support for all of these, important stakeholders later on. But how can schools and workplaces become more autism friendly?
They can by there's what we call adaptation. Adaptation, they can adapt their curriculum, adapt their time, adapt their environment, adapt when I say adapt their strategies in teaching the children to what is suitable for those children. That is inclusion. Inclusion is talking about everybody learning in the same environment, in the same classroom, and then being taught in the way that they understand. That's differential teaching. Okay? Differential teaching. And if schools can know that this child A is different from child B, Child B, you're talking about water. Might need to feel the water, taste the water, touch the water, you know. While child B, you can describe what it looks like. Child B is able to pick it out. They will know that inclusion in your resources, when you develop a curriculum, and then you need to develop it in a way that it will be friendly for a child on the autism spectrum. When you are building your facility, you need to understand that you have to use colors that are friendly to someone on the autism spectrum. When you are teaching in a class, you need to make it visual, you need to make it tactile, you need to make it in a way that the child feels it, see it, taste it if possible. So inclusion, you have to modify your curriculum when others with time, the adaptation with time. If you are giving others 10 minutes to write a test, a child on the autism spectrum should be given, let's say 10 minutes, 10 to 25 minutes, because they said 150% extra time, I think so, to the person on the autism spectrum to write that exam, if they are even running on the same curriculum. So you need to do need-based assessments. What does this child need? So that the intervention can also be stated in the IEP, individualized education plan, and then you teach the child in the pattern he understands in school, even at home. Even at home, when you are also talking, you need to understand that this child might not be able to process lengthy words. Break it down and give the instruction. So inclusion has to do with a whole lot of things: our environment, our school, our curriculum, a lot of things we need to adapt to include them. It's not just on the autism April, everybody comes about inclusion. After that, everything dies down. What do we do? Or what are we doing after that? You take your child to school and they're telling you, oh no, yes, they say zero reject policy, no child should be rejected in any school. But do they have what it takes to handle that child? Do they have specialists? Do they have, if a child that is nonverbal, do they have speech and language therapists that can attend to the child? If it's a child that is having sensory behavior, do they have an occupational therapist that can handle the sensory needs? Give the child sensory break. If there is a child that has CP, do they have physiotherapists to attend to the muscles of the child? So inclusion is a whole lot. So that's why most schools run away from it.
I mean, it would add significantly to the overheads, I guess, which might pose some kind of a challenge. But I get your point. Now, what roles can community, traditional heads, organizations, even the media as well, play in helping to change the narrative?
The media should help us to do more to spread the information on what it is and what is expected and the way out. Okay, what it is like. This is the situation of Nigeria when it comes to inclusion, and what is the plan to ensure that we advance. Okay, so the society also needs to accept these individuals, know that people like this exist. It's not like they are mad, they are not crazy, because we have seen individuals who call them mad children. They are not mad. It's just neurological differences that they have. Doesn't put them in that psychiatry way. Okay? They can talk, they can read, they can write, they can do a whole lot if they have that level of intervention. So the society needs to know the difference between these things and how best to support. And the media has a lot to do. The schools have a lot to do. Let's use what we have for now. I believe so much in, if you want to change the narrative, what can I offer as an individual? I mean, I came here now, it's my time. It's part of it. I transported myself to come, it's my money. No government has given me money for anything. So it's the much that I can do.
And we haven't given you any money for this either.
Exactly. So it's my passion to do that. So let's do the little that we can do from your home, from my home, from your side, from my side, on the streets there, when we see a parent struggling with a special need, don't label the parent. Try to find out how best can I help? What can I do to help? Because sometimes they are overwhelmed. So let's the people, the community understand. Parents sometimes do not even want to let people in their compound know that they have a child with special need because of stigmatization, because of misunderstanding. So if I don't know you have, and I'm not knowledgeable of what it is, how do I help you? So that also falls back to parents. Please don't hide the children. Let your neighbor know. And when you are overwhelmed, you can tell your neighbor, please, can you hold my child for 5 minutes? It's either a yes or a no. You say no. You move on. You say yes. Let the person have that child for 5 minutes and then cool off your head.
Support.
Yeah.
You mentioned support a while ago. And you've also identified that we have challenges with our environment. There are peculiarities as against some other environments. But even with those challenges, I imagine there is some support. For example, your organizations provide some support. So what support systems are available for parents and autistic people in our environment?
Okay. Like for us now, as an organization, we tend to do
And your organizations again, no?
Utmost Care and Therapy Services Limited. We tend to do, in fact, we are doing, it's not that we tend to do, we are doing free autism screening, like free assessments, not just the screening, comprehensive assessment for anyone who calls us. Like if I get a call now, you say you're coming for assessment, I'm going to do that for free to be able to assess you and know that, okay, your child needs intervention. But this is something they pay for before now. Every April, I do that. I do free assessment for any client who is coming in because I feel that is my only two way that I can support. We also have a payment pattern that allows us to attend to people who call for intervention. So we have a way of, from the NGO part, if we check what is in the NGO purse, we say, okay, we might be able to do this for a period of so instead of turning down on the child and letting the child go when we know that this is a child that can benefit from intervention and get better. Then out there, I believe that there are also NGOs who are offering free services, who are maybe paying for. I know one or two people have called me, Nigerians outside, and said, okay, we will pay for, we will want to like how many children I can pay for one person, 2 person for 3 months, 4 months. There are people who are doing, individuals who are doing that as well. NGOs are doing that. There are churches too who support. All these are coming from, I may not say about the government because I have not had that exposure, but I've had that from individuals, even from well-meaning parents too, of children who have special needs. They have been able to say, okay, I can support with this child's payment for this period of months. Okay. So individually, we are doing, as an organization, we are doing something. People on their own individual level are doing something. We just hope that we make it louder.
I do appreciate what you're doing, what Utmost Care is doing, but from what you said, it doesn't seem like there's a lot of support out there.
No, there's no lot of support out there. Even the free screening that we had in Convocation Arena, the money
At Uniport?
Yes, at not Uniport, River State University.
Oh, River State
Yes,
University, pardon me.
University Convocation Arena,
Okay.
River State University. We had to form the group, Spark Spectrum. We had to form the group, and it was individual contribution that we are able to. We got the t-shirt ourselves, individual contribution. I know a parent who has a child with special need was the one that did chops for us for free. The VC, Professor Isaac Zimpo gave us the convocation arena for free. So it's all individual effort. We didn't get anything from any NGO or company or that. It was all individual. People contribute 2,000, 5,000, 30,000, 100,000, and we're able to have that program.
And for those who require support from you, from your organization, Utmost Care, or those who would like to support the assessment or treatment of other persons via Utmost Care, how can they reach you?
Yeah, they can reach us. Do you want them to give out a number?
Whatever,
Huh?
whatever you can give out.
Okay,
Yes.
for those who would like to support a child in our care, or maybe you have a child somewhere, you want us to access this period for free, you can call us on 070-1592-1966. 070-1592-1966. You can also visit our website, www.otcast.org. Otcast is UTCATS. www.otcast.org. You can get all the information that you have on our website. And it's very important we do this as a society to support those who are autistic. The April is set aside for them. April is set aside for them. From here, I'll go to Worry. Free seminars for banks, for schools, free that. We just want to preach, because in our center, we have people from the age of 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Once they are age 9, we expose them to vocational skill. I also want a situation where someday they will be able to work in the bank, even if it's to make photocopies and they are being paid. I want a situation whereby they are able to work in the restaurant or in a hotel, dress the bed, and they are being paid. I want a situation whereby they are able to make your trouser for you and they get paid, weave your hair for you and they get paid. So we expose them to hairdressing. Some of them are weaving beautifully. Some of them are able to couple some clothes, some wares. So it's not all about the stigmatization. It's the support that we give them to make them have independent living.
As we wrap up, what final message would you like to leave with everyone, families, educators, employers, everyone today?
Attending to individuals with autism is a multidisciplinary approach. That's to say, in this multidisciplinary approach, you have the education factor, you have the medical factor. So I would like to say that no matter what you have as a child, whether it's a child with autism or any other learning or developmental disability, do not tear the child down. Don't be the limitation to that child. Do accept the child first. Go for the screening, go for the assessment, go for the diagnosis. Accept the child. Accept the child and then look for solution. Go all the way. Today we are in the Google world where you can Google a whole lot of things. People call us and say, I Googled and I saw your contact, your email, your number, and this is what we have. And they are looking for solution for their child. Some came not talking, today they are talking. So don't put an end to that child's destiny because of autism. Bring the child out. You have all the support that you can get. Look for it and have your child restored, even if it's not 100%, 50, 60, 70, that's good. We preach holistic approach and optimal living because someday you won't always be there for that child. So try as much as you can to build the independency so that child can live without you. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much to Mercy Emmanuel-Worgu, behavioral specialist, who's joined the conversation on Canvas this week to discuss understanding autism in commemoration of a Global Autism Awareness Day, April 2nd, annually. Mercy, thank you very much for your time. Thank you for the great work you and the rest of your team are doing to increase the knowledge, understanding of autism, and care for people living with autism. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Zaire.
And remember to support, provide some support as well, if you can. And if you have someone as well who you suspect is on the autism spectrum, do get in touch with Mercy and her team as well. Thanks for watching. You can also, of course, see a recap of this. Watch this episode and previous episode we had on autism, Down syndrome, or other conversations on Canvas on our social media pages and on our YouTube page as well. Thanks for watching. I'm Adedai Lushakin, and bye for now.